Hey, Cubs fans, and welcome to a brand new edition of Cubs on Net. I am Ron Luce, joined tonight by the one and the only Cody Del Mendo, and we are talking about nothing other, Cody, than a Cubs victory. The Cubs beat the Philadelphia Phillies tonight 6-3 in Philadelphia. Adrian Sampson, first win of the season for him. But before we get started, Cody, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Ron, back-to-back nights, man. Good to see you as always. The Cubs are playing big spoiler, man. Like I keep saying, playing big spoiler in September. Feeling pretty good about it. It's making my end of the season, sadness about them not making the playoffs feel a little bit better, I guess. Yeah, man. Adrian Sampson, he's making a play to be part of the team next year. I know the last two outings now he's given up a run in the first inning, but then after that he figures it out and he's able to give you five, or hell, he went into the sixth tonight. I think Joe said it at the last start. He's probably more likely a good spot starter type guy. Someone goes on the IL, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Still think that's probably it, but I might think differently if he would have been given a chance to play sooner,
Sure.
But yeah, no, he's impressed, man. And, again, going into a city that has a team right there in the chase for the wild card and in the division right now, man. Like, it's not like the Phillies aren't trying to win.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see this Cubs team just going out there and playing loose and, just doing whatever. It's fun. It's as much as I wish the Cubs were in playoff contention, it's better than watching them lose every single game and not have anything to look forward to. They're giving me exactly what I had asked for before the deadline, like we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
They got swept by the Giants, but that team's elite. That's a good team. That's a team that's going to probably be in the NLCS if I had to bet. The Phillies, they're a borderline playoff team. And the Cubs showing that they can compete with the Phillies, they compete with the Reds. We'll see if they can compete with the Cardinals whenever that comes up. And, I know they got to play the Brewers one more time. We'll see where they compete with these teams before the end of the season. And I genuinely think Jed Hoyer is looking at some of this and, taking notes on like potential guys to keep around. I mean, someone we haven't really talked about ever on this show, Nick Martini tonight gets that double that leads to Schwindel driving him in to get that insurance run after they gave up those two runs. Like, is everyone in the line just kind of doing something right now and or just kind of making a name? I don't know, but
yeah,
obviously highlighted by the two bombs tonight. But overall, man, it's just a good one. It's just they're fun right now, and I can't complain. There's no reason to complain. If anything, we should all be hopeful. I think there is hope with this franchise sooner rather than later, and not a lot of people would have said that a month ago.
True, and you literally took the words out of my mouth just in a different phrasing. I was just going to say, this is not 2012, people. This Cubs team is fun. Like you said, I mean, you've got friggin' Patty Wise hitting one bomb tonight, excuse me, one of the two bombs that you mentioned. Ties KB now in the record books for rookie home runs with 26. One more, and he's sole owner of that rookie Cubs record. And then, Rivas, first career home runs, Cody, are cool and tough, as we all like to say here. And, it was just a nice game. Like Sampson, all things considered, you look at his final stat line, it's really nice. 5 innings, 4 hits. As you mentioned, he did pitch into the sixth. But 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. I mean, overall, really good. 2.53 now is where his ERA sits on the season. And, even with Manny Rodriguez, struggling a little bit, he's had a little bit of a cold run here lately. He still gets a hold tonight. Nance, Efros, Kane, Harper. That got me all kinds of excited. It's good stuff too. And then holy Rowan Wick, dude. Like, he looks like the closer of 2022 with guys like Cody Hoyer. Man. Yeah, with guys like Cody Hoyer and Brad Wick setting them up. I mean, it's just they are fun. They are fun, Cody. And it's nice talking about a Cubs team that at least gets us excited because – like you said, this is so much better than us sitting here going, well, they lost again. This is 13 in a row. Like, It's not like that. It's, hey, they're playing fun baseball. They're getting things done. And first off, evening, sir, to our friend Dope Redbeard. But Scott from Iowa coming in, talk about Patty wise, talk your shit.
Congrats on your bet, Scott. You put $25 on Patrick Wisdom to hit a homer tonight. At you betting guys that hit homers, it's very hard to win. $25, laying $25 on that takes nuts. That takes balls. That's more money than I would do with that. So
absolutely,
congrats on your W. Hang it up, fly it, maybe take a break or cash out right now because those are just so hard to win. So
they are so hard to win. Well, and on top of that, too, a nice little plug because I bet you Scott from Iowa is feeling some good juju, and hopefully the on-tap bets guys. Cody does a lot of good work over with those guys. I kind of hover in and out and at least say hello to the on-tap bets crew. But make sure you're following along with that as well because it is the heat of betting season here with football and baseball and whatnot. But yeah, man, I mean, and on top of it, too, we'll talk about this in a few minutes, but the AAA Iowa Cubs having a night. Nico looking good, tonight in his rehab start. And then obviously Brennan Davis, we're going to talk about the 2 home runs in his first 2 AAA at bats. So tonight was a good, you get ready to, it's like that feeling when you had a good day, you go to go for a run or something. You're just feeling good about yourself. Like that's how I feel after tonight's Cubs games, just organizationally, because, it might be September and they might not be going to the playoffs, but
Cubs Twitter was like, it might have been at at its peak since the trade deadline in terms of just morale, I guess, as our good friend Tom Frederick likes to say, because absolutely. Wisdom hit the homer, the first, he hit his homer, and then Rivas right after, and then a matter of maybe not even minutes, but seconds later, I see Cubs Twitter blowing up about Brennan Davis hitting the first homer, and then he hit another one later. So Cubs Twitter for a matter of in about 10 minutes was just on a heater, man. It was like it was like they did some cocaine or some shit. It was like we're freaking going to the World Series right now, right in this moment. And obviously that's not true, but you know what I mean by it. Everyone knows what I mean by it. And again, that's just fun. That's good stuff. Brennan Davis, he, 2 at-bats, first 2 at-bats at AAA. He's hitting them out of the park. I mean, that's good signs for next year, man. That's good signs. If again, like I said yesterday, if he plays well the rest of this year and then has a great spring training and they get the CBA figured out, he might start the year with the team. Realistically, I think it's more like May, somewhere between May and the All-Star break. But, if they get a new CBA figured out to where there's no loopholes and stuff like that with the service time, I don't see why not start the year on opening day if he plays very well. Because a lot of the minor league Twitter accounts I read or takes I read, or I don't really know, but a lot of them really talk about how AA is kind of like the hardest for position players, at least. AA is kind of the hardest. That's where you're going to see the toughest competition. And AAA is kind of, I guess, just they don't even really call it anything. I don't know what it is.
It's like just the final touches essentially for guys that maybe didn't show enough in AA to fully sell the team. But I've heard the same thing as well. Yes,
and I assume that's a thing because a lot of people in AAA are a lot of depth pieces for injuries and stuff, right? Like the Cubs are a great example of that. So maybe AAA doesn't have nearly as much talent or up-and-coming talent as you would see in the lower levels. So, I mean, this is a great start tonight. And his swing, watching him swing the bat,
it's nice.
His home run swing it almost looks like he doesn't even try to swing. And that's one of the things that makes it look so fun to watch. It's just like, man, he's just barely swinging the bat and he's hitting balls out of here. He just looks like a jacked athlete running the bases, man. This guy is going to be a mainstay in center field one day. I can't wait. I really can't wait. I swear if he doesn't turn out to be something good, then I just give up on the Cubs developing center fielders.
Big facts, dude. That is 100% true because he looks like the truth, man. He really looks like the truth, and this is just to back up exactly what you said. You nailed it with that 10 minutes. So I'm a big fan of this guy. He's the voice of the Iowa Cubs, Alex Cohen. He's at Voice of Cohen on Twitter. He says he tweeted this a little earlier. He says, in a span of 10 minutes, 1, Brennan Davis hits his first AAA home run in his first AAA at bat. 2, Alfonso Rivas hits his first MLB home run. Patrick Wisdom ties Chris Bryant for most Cubs homers in a season by a rookie. And Nico Horner had an RBI double in that same time span as well. So in the span of 10 minutes, you had 4 pieces that, at least in 2022, scream future to, Cubs fans and where this team's probably going next year, doing good things at, a couple different levels. And it just shows, like, again, this isn't 2012. Cody, I almost want to make that the title of the episode tonight because this isn't 2012. There's hope here. You and I talk about it all the time. You got to remind people, and you do a great job of reminding people on Twitter. It's just, dude, this is not the Cubs of 2012 where they had to totally rehaul the system. This system is in a much better place than it was back in 2012. Because you remember, we're longtime Cubs fans. Like this Cubs prospect pool was always bottom 5 in the league year in and year out for almost ever. Starlin Castro was the first win developmentally for this team, and I couldn't even tell you how long. Like it feels like forever, truthfully. So you go from having to go from that to where they got with guys like Chris Bryant and Javier Baez and Anthony Rizzo. They were already trending in a good direction. Sure, they were 22 entering the year. Sure, they were still trying to figure things out, but they had also lost an entire year of development in 2020 for a lot of these guys who were really just starting to like kind of make that turn in 2019, like the Ryan Jensens of the world, like, some of the other guys. And then of course they go and they add to that at the deadline because of the sell-off. And you look at this prospect pool, like this team's going to be a competitor again by 2023 at least.
And that's the thing is kind of like, like you can say that Frank Schwindel is kind of like a bridge gap to whoever.
Sure.
And same thing with Patrick Wisdom. But like, I feel like those guys have a place even beyond 2022 if they keep playing like this, because A, you're never going to have to pay them a ton of money. And B, you need veterans in there mixed with the young guys. You just do. You need them in there. And, so, obviously free agency plays a role. You get those young guys in 2023, 2024 in that range, and you got, what we got right now. Alfonso Rivas has been very impressive since he came up. He gives you a great at bat. His first major league home run's a freaking nuke, barely over the wall. But, if he's coming up as a first baseman, I feel like the power will develop a lot more. He doesn't look like a big man like Anthony Rizzo, but
sure,
that left-handed swing it sure does look nice. Yeah. And again, he gives you great at bat and gets the pitch count high for a lot of pitchers. And he's someone that I have higher hopes for. If I had to put him and Frank Schwindel next to each other, I have higher hopes for Rivas more than I do Schwindel. And I know age has a big part in that. But at the same time, I do think that, there's just those three alone. Like you got some quality at bats right there. You may add a couple more bats in the offseason, get yourself an outfielder that's currently playing in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Something like that. Get some pitching that can be the top dog of your next great Cubs team, and you got yourself a team. It's every single day it looks like the Cubs made the right move at the trade deadline. Everyone was so pissed, and that includes me. It was more so because I didn't want to lose all three, but every single day the trade deadline looks like the Cubs made the right move because they did what they had to do, and they have been able to give these guys opportunities. And now the Cubs are in a spot where, like, the only way that they just really fall out next year is if not only they not really do anything in the offseason that's spectacularly eye-opening, but these guys who are playing well now, maybe the Cubs are like, all right, well, we're not going to be ready till these other guys come up. So we're going to flip these guys, as in Wisdom and Schwindel and whoever else, to get even more prospects. I don't think the Cubs will do that, and they're not in a spot right now to even consider it because those guys, I mean, except for maybe Patrick Wisdom, because he has played with the Cubs since June? And he's, he's, if he played, I guess, in a full 162 game season, he would have been on pace for like 50 bombs this year. So maybe there's some value in there. I don't know, but that would be like the only thing I could come up with that tells me that the Cubs aren't going to at least be competitive next year. But we're still a long way from that. And obviously the offseason has a big part in that. But yeah, man, it's just like it goes back to player development, scouting. Dan Kantrovitz again, man. It's not just pitching. He's finding guys who are hitting it too. And it was very much something he did in Oakland. It was very much something he did in St. Louis. It was one of the most annoying things when he was in St. Louis. So
sure was.
I'm just glad to see the everyone from top to bottom doing stuff. Ortega with a double tonight. I mentioned Martini getting that double that led to the more runs after giving up the 2 runs in the bottom half when the Phillies had momentum. And then the bullpen and Scott Efros again. Holy fuck. In the 8th inning, just coming in, mowing them down. Rowan Wick striking out Bryce Harper like it's nobody's fucking business. Like, it gets me excited, man. It really does get me excited. And I think one of the cool things about next season, if they do make some decent moves, and I'm not asking to go spend $150 million on one player, but if they just, make some cost-controlled moves, this team will at least be very, very fun to watch and could get super hot sometime in next summer and maybe give us a ride. I don't know, but they're just, again, I think it really goes back to just the fact they just don't strike out nearly as much anymore, and or at least during this month they haven't been. And at the end of the day, maybe everyone that said this team needs shaked up and completely remove everything, the core from 16, maybe they were right. I don't know. I still think KB is a guy, but it is what it is. I don't know. There's still a lot to be done, but at least there are things to look forward to, like I keep saying.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with you about Efros. Like, he just continuously surprises me, like, pleasantly. Like, I'm like, ooh, that was cool. I like that. Do that again. And yeah, I mean, Rowan Wick is another perfect example of that. But I'm right there with you. I mean, all things considered, how they do this offseason, like, this team's going to be fun next year. Like, this team, to me, is going to be a hybrid of like the 2015 and 2014 Cubs. And what I mean by that is maybe they don't have the success of the 2015 Cubs in terms of like 97 wins and a third best record in baseball and all that crazy shit. But maybe they're fun and you can feel the future even more so next season. You know what I mean? Like, that 2014 team was actually kind of fun because you got little glimpses into guys like Soler. You saw more of Rizzo. Bryant was nuking the baseball down in AAA. Schwarber had just been drafted. Like, that Javi gets his call up. Like, the hype was starting to come. And I think you can get that hybrid of that hype plus some success on the field, maybe 85 to 88 wins. Again, if you, like you said, if they have a couple hot months, where things start to gel, and a lot of that is going to be depicting on free agency, right? Like you said, do they go spend maybe big money on 1 or 2 players and then fill in with a lot of 1 and 2 year deals, or do they just stick to the 1 and 2 year deals? Either way, given the way the NL Central looks, and sure, I know that the Reds and the Cardinals are competing for that second NL wildcard spot. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Like, this division's probably one of the worst in baseball. I'd say top to bottom, the only one that might be as bad as the AL Central, and it's not a shot at our friends over at the White Sox, even though we could tell them to go fuck themselves, but, like, that's more so just like the rest of that division is hot garbage. So, like, realistically, the Cubs absolutely could compete next year. And I think guys like Brennan Davis, who we talked a lot about this evening, and I would like to keep talking about because he's fun to talk about. But again, like those type of guys are going to start coming up here soon and creating that excitement. And some of these guys are already here. Like, can you imagine next season how fun it's going to be when you, me, and Joe and the rest of the Cubs on Tap gang are at the fucking ballpark when Brennan Davis, Nick Madrigal, Nico Horner, and maybe an addition or two in free agency are in like the top 5 of that lineup?
Yeah, man. It will be very fun. And if things work out like that, people better be apologizing to Jed Hoyer, man.
Absolutely.
And this another thing that we haven't really talked about on recent shows is Yu Darvish continues to trend down, man, ever since the sticky stuff got, taken away or busted or whatever. He's continued to trend down. Not saying that he used it, but I'm just saying that it has been essentially has been since it is fact. And he struggled again last night. The Padres are free falling. That's the only reason the fucking Reds and the Cardinals are even in the freaking wild card chase. And it pisses me off. It legit pisses me off because if the Cardinals freaking get in, I just want that franchise to just have 100 loss season in my lifetime. I want them to have 100 loss season in my lifetime. Just one time. I want those fans to see what it's like to suffer. Fuck them. Anyway.
Let your hatred out.
Anyway, yeah, I mean Milwaukee will be good next year, and like I just said about St. Louis, they always seem to be in it. But after that, you know, with Castellanos as you don't know if he's going to stay or not.
You mean when he's a Cub?
Right. Sure, I mean, if Castellanos Cubs to the Cubs, I mean, the Reds, they have a lot of up and coming talent, no doubt. They do. They just never seem to really have the pitching consistently, at least. I know Luis Castillo was supposed to take that ace role this year, and he really struggled the first part of the year. He's kind of came on a little bit in the second half, but still, like, you need him to be like your number one that you can count on for 30 starts a year, and he really hasn't been that. After that, they have some decent guys. I mean, I don't understand how Wade Miley has an ERA under 3 this year, but whatever.
And either way, 12 wins too on top.
Yeah. Either way, like the Reds, they're the fucking Reds, dude. They're the fucking Reds. Like, never gonna be afraid of those guys. And then Pittsburgh's still rebuilding as well. So, people talk about rebuilds all the time and how we got to do this and how we do that. Like, I mean, it feels like look at a team like the Mariners. I feel like the Mariners have been rebuilding since King Griffey Jr. left Seattle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, it just kind of like with this Cubs team right now and how the farm system looks and the potential, and then you look at what's on the actual roster right now and seeing what they're doing. It really, again, just goes back to player development, culture, and all that stuff that we have talked about before. And, I can't be excited enough about what the future holds, man. I really can't.
Absolutely. I am right there with you, dude. I mean, because again, like you're already starting to see so many of these pieces for 2022, like find their groove with this team in 2021. Like you've mentioned, realistically, we're probably going to see Frank Schwindel and Patrick Wisdom next season. Both have been very exciting players. Wisdom, literally, I mean, 90? I think tonight was game number 96 for him. Has already tied Bryant's record, which took Bryant 150 games to set. Yeah. Like, that's not a shot at KB. That's just showing how impressive Wisdom's run has been. Right. Frank Schwindel, they showed a graphic, I think, on Marquee tonight. Like, he has the 3rd highest OPS through 38 games in his, first 38 games as a Cub since, since 1906. But the 2 dudes that were, ahead of him were from, 1911. I mean, his OPS is insane. He's well over 1,000. Again, just an incredible story. But they're showing that they can be valuable, at least role players in 2022. And then you factor in the true, quote unquote, future pieces of guys like a Cody Hoyer and guys like a Justin Steele potentially, and guys like an Adbert Alzolay potentially. And a Rowan Wick and a Nick Madrigal and a Nico Horner, who's looks like he's going to be back soon. And maybe if he gets, 10 games at the end of the year here and looks good, you're like, okay, hey, we got some good feeling that he's doing okay now. And then you factor in guys like Brennan Davis, and then any free agent acquisitions they make this year, they're going to be fun in 22.
And then on top of you think this year's just a fluke on the random guys they found this year to come up and play well?
It's not.
There's going to be more next year. We don't know who they are right now. Quite literally, we don't know who they are.
We don't know, yeah.
And they're going to sign them or find them off the street in the offseason.
Yep.
They'll sign them to a minor league contract or something, or who knows? Maybe it's not next year, but the year after, where they're just find someone who got waived that was a prospect and never got to the majors. I don't know. I mean, that's literally how the season has gone with the guys that are on the team right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank Schwindel was DFA'd. Patrick Wisdom was people want to call it a journeyman. No, he was quite literally just never giving an opportunity by not only the Cardinals, but the Rangers and the Mariners.
Yep.
And the Cubs even DFA'd him one time and then re-signed him. Alfonso Rivas got in the Tony Kemp trade. No one remembers the Tony Kemp trade.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And here he is, just balling out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other guys. I mean, Rowan Wick, we've talked about before. I mean, he was traded from the Padres to the Cubs for a bucket of balls, I'm pretty sure.
I was going to say a bucket of balls, and maybe at that point they were still using sticky stuff. They probably traded some of that there too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so many guys on the roster right now. I mean, Rafael Ortega, didn't mention him. I mean, he has been a journeyman. He's been in the league since 2012. He's been around on a lot of different teams. He's the one that, to me, he could be the most like Brian LaHair type guy who plays really well for the couple months of this into this year, but then really falls off next year. But I'm hoping he is just a bridge to Brennan Davis, and then Ortega could be your fourth outfielder he'd be a fourth outfielder on a good team, but but I'm also still high on Michael Hermosillo. We'll see. The injury, I'm still mad about the injury, man, or I'm still sad about it. So there's a lot of factors with that, but to me, he's the one that's kind of he played really well after the All-Star break, no doubt. And he's continued to play well. I don't know still. I feel so much better about Wisdom and Schwindel than I do Ortega. But that's okay. You can continue to be that guy. But again, he was a guy they just picked up off the street, and he had some contributions before the team was blown up. But he's getting a chance to play every day now, and he's been playing pretty well, at least earning himself a shot to play with the team next year. I mean, I have no problem with it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
there's just again, these random guys I'm talking about, that the Cubs are going to find. They're not going to be, build your team around type players, but they're going to be guys who can contribute. And it's just refreshing, because the Cubs have never been able to be a franchise that does that. You know what I mean? And that's what's so awesome about this. It's all right, let's keep that assembly line of no names going, because it's they that's the good teams all find a way to do it. Every single one of them, they all find a way to do it. And it's nice to see the Cubs potentially being a team like that, next year and beyond. So, yeah, man.
I'm telling you what, this is the only thing I feel like I can add to that, because I think you hit everything perfectly on the head. But to me, it's Theo and Jed were the dudes, right? They engineered the first World Series team in 108 years, and and then Theo was you know what, man, I worked my ass off. I feel good. I'm gonna chill for a little bit. I'm gonna go just do me.
Oh, and so many people also were Theo just wanted out because he didn't want to deal with the mess. And as we've seen the season play out and seeing some of these guys play, it's there was no mess. He really did just want to go.
Honestly, they had some plan there beforehand.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was going with my point, because
feels
no, you're good, because I'm glad you said that, because it really does transition it well, because Theo was all right, I'm good, man. Hey, you guys got this, especially because we found homeboy who was like our adopted brother, and that adopted brother's Dan Kantrovitz, man. Like he was the third nerd in that room that they needed to like get shit in line, and then let him and Jed ride on off into the sunset and let Theo just kind of do his thing. And it really feels like it just worked perfectly because like you're seeing some of the genius of Jed. You're seeing again why Dan Kantrovitz was such a hot commodity. And why I literally think they should give him the Andre Dawson treatment and just hand him a blank check and say, how much money do you want, bro? Because, like, we want to keep you around as long as possible to keep this thing going. Like, that's really how I feel with this front office right now. And, again, are all these guys we're getting excited about going to work out? Not necessarily. Again, baseball's a crapshoot. Go watch Moneyball, and you'll understand exactly what I mean.
We learned with the last core very, very quickly.
They were supposed to be a dynasty, and they won one. They won one. It's a bitch to win one, let alone multiple. Right. So the fact that this front office it has a plan the way they do already so early into this whole like they're gonna tear it down. That just shows that again, it's not going to be an old traditional rebuild where it takes 5 and 6 years. They're going to be able to turn this thing around in like 2 to 3 years. And that's
5-year
really exciting.
The 5-year rebuilds are for teams that just had no infrastructure. They have no plan.
The Pittsburgh Pirates.
The Pittsburgh Pirates, brother.
Because like the Pittsburgh Pirates problem is they're a poor man's version of the Rays. Because the Rays can physically trade dudes away when they can't pay them anymore. But they have another dude that's ready to come like right up and just take that over. That's why they're able to continue doing what they're doing. Pittsburgh, it takes them a little longer between getting those guys, right? Because like they found Starling Marte. They found Andrew McCutchen. They found, a decent Gregory Blanco. They found Adam Frazier. They found Josh Bell. Like, some pretty notable freaking names have come through Pittsburgh. But it's just like they can't put enough of them together at the same time to be truly competitive. Because, again, they're a poor man's version of the Rays. And it's like, I really think that's just the problem. But again, you give these two freaking geniuses at the helm, which Kantrovitz did it with a low budget team like the A's. You give them the money that the Cubs can physically produce, being the Chicago Cubs and everything they're doing to monetize that franchise. And it's like Andrew Friedman with the Dodgers. You gave the kid that engineered, I can do this for nothing money into, hey, here's a $300 million every year you can spend. Go have fun, bud. He's a kid in Candyland. And like, I really think Jed and Dan Kantrovitz are kind of trending in that direction right now of like, we know what we're doing. Mm-hmm. We got this shit figured out. Give us 2 years and this thing's going to become a freaking well-oiled machine. And again, like you and I sit here and bitch about the Cardinals. I respect the Cardinals. That's the difference between my hate for them and the Brewers. I actually respect them because for freaking decades and as long as I can remember as a baseball fan, they're annoyingly competitive for no reason because they find these dudes out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And I know Dan had a big reason, big part of that. Now he's bringing that to the Cubs, which Jed and Theo already magically did before. Come on, man. The future is bright in Chicago. This is not 2012.
Hell yeah, brother.
I love to see it.
I love to see it. Any final notes?
I got nothing, man. I think it's a perfect time. I think we're ready to look at it.
I do want to mention Javi Baez did hit a game-tying homer in the bottom of the ninth for the Mets.
Against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yes,
but unfortunately, I just checked the box score. Unfortunately, St. Louis scored 3 runs in the top the 11th now. It's 7-4, which is stupid. Fuck that franchise.
Yeah, and that rule about having a runner on second base. I hate it. I can't wait for it to be gone next year. I think it's
there's a guy at my work who likes it because he doesn't want to sit and watch like a 15-inning ball game, which in a sense I understand. I get it. I totally get that. It just reminds me so much of the shift. Like if the Cubs win from it, then cool. If they lose, then I just hate it because like that runner on second is such a pain in the ass.
and honestly, here's just a quick rebuttal to that. And not even a rebuttal, kind of an agreement with that in the sense of like, you and I talked about it at the game on Saturday when we were sitting next to it. Like limit the shift. Even if you have to limit like the inside guy on either side can be head up with the base, like as your limit to the shift. Why don't we limit that rule? If you want to have a guy on base, have him start on first instead of second, because then at least you play enough of the crapshoot of like you truly have to work to get that guy home instead of, hey, you hit a fucking single and we're tied. That's where I hate it. I'd be fine if they wanted the guy to start on first. I hate that he starts in scoring position. I think that's the part that really gets to me and pisses me off. But if you agree,
you get that.
Yeah, that might have to be an article over at on tabsportsnet.com for us here. But we are ready to move on again. Great Cubs win 6-3 over the Phillies, and they're back at it tomorrow on Wednesday, September 15th at 6:05 local time at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 670 The Score, Marquee Sports Network, 94 WHIP, WTTM 1680, and NBC Sports Philadelphia for both markets to watch and listen. Alec Mills will be on the mound for the Cubs, 6-6 with a 4.35 ERA and 74 Ks. And as for the Phillies, it is Ranger Suarez. And the lefty is 6-4 on the year, 1.38 ERA and 78 Ks. That's actually a very interesting statistic because didn't really know any of that. So with that being said, sir, I will turn it right back over to you. A little preview for tomorrow's game of Fly the W pick, and we will send this beautiful Cubs winning night into the sunset.
All right. Well, I'll keep it short and sweet because it's late. But Alec Mills, man, just like Adrian Sampson, he's taken advantage of the opportunity as he has basically since the trade deadline, basically since he was put in the starting rotation. From my memory, he was very good in his last outing. So, yeah, man. Hey, like I kind of said already, it's keep playing spoiler. This Phillies team, they're thinking they got to get back on the right side tomorrow. I do know I was actually at Alec Mills' start against the Phillies at Wrigley. It was actually a start that it was a game the Cubs won to snap an 11-game losing streak. So that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So he's pitched well against the Phillies this year. The one time he's faced them this year, at least. So yeah, I think you just keep that good mojo going, that good juju with him, and the offense will come. Who starts for the Phillies again?
Ranger Suarez.
Whoever the fuck that is, I have
exactly.
No idea exactly. I was looking at the line for the tomorrow. The Cubs are obviously they're underdogs tomorrow. I was thinking about maybe placing a small wager on the money line for the Cubs tomorrow. I think I saw it earlier today at like plus 160. It might be lower now that they won this first game, but yeah, I don't know. I again, just they've just been playing so well in September. Just and the big part of it has been the starting pitching has been okay, hasn't been elite or anything, but a lot of them have been able to go 5 innings. Adrian Sampson tonight, Alec Mills, like I said, has been very good, giving you at least 5 innings. Kyle Hendricks is Kyle Hendricks, and then Justin Steele's kind of a toss up, but he's been showing you growth.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach Davies is Zach Davies, and he's not anyone that I'm really talking about. He fucking sucks, and I can't wait for him to not be wearing a Cubs uniform anymore. No offense to him, but obviously, most of them are giving us solid 5 solid strong innings, but the bullpen's really been what's been great. Manny Rodriguez has been kind of up and down, but there's other guys that have been very good. Obviously, Rowan Wick and Cody Hoyer. He didn't pitch tonight, so we'll probably see Hoyer tomorrow if it's a close game.
Yes.
So yeah, I think the pitching is key to tomorrow's win for the Cubs, and hopefully the offense comes. Maybe Patty Wise breaks the record for Cubs homers by a rookie tomorrow. That'd be great. That'd be cool and tough. Am I right?
It would be cool and tough. It would be nice. That would be nice. Hey, we would love that. I was pumped that he did it, at least tied it tonight. I think that's cool because he gives himself like 17 games now to break the record.
He was really pressing at Wrigley. It was nice to see him break out tonight. Not only did he hit a homer, he had a double too.
Mm-hmm.
We went 2 for 4 tonight. So hopefully that's him breaking out. And I think that's like the biggest thing about Patrick Wisdom too, is like, at the beginning of the year when he had that stretch where he hit like 8 homers in 10 days or whatever, and then he kind of got cold and people were like, oh, okay, this is just, he was a flash in the pan type guy, whatever. Well, he broke out of it. You know what I mean? And he's like
Right.
we've been talking all season. When he gets a little cold, he eventually gets out of it. And I mean, that's what you have to. That's all you can ask for a major league ball player of his caliber of how much he's getting paid. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
Yeah. Hopefully, this is a nice sign for what's to come towards the end of the year. Because, like I said, he's struggling on the homestand. So,
yeah,
I'm hoping that he, has a nice little stretch here at the end of the season. Maybe put himself, give himself some more Rookie of the Year votes.
True. Would love to see Patty Wise. So see your fly that you picked. Did I catch that correctly?
I guess I talked myself into it. Yeah, might as well.
I like it. I dig it. I really do. It's a good one though.
I did take him last night too.
Yeah. Hey, Scott from Iowa here, real quick. He says he'll throw another 25 for a Patty Dinger if you will. So he's challenging you to own up to your fly the W pick tonight. I mean, hey, he like you said, he had balls tonight and he threw down on it. You gotta love
it. I won so much money from college football on Saturday and then lost it all on the NFL and the fucking Chicago Bears on Sunday. So I have like just a little bit of money to play with. I hate betting baseball, man. I really do. Maybe
Baseball's
not
hard.
25, but I can throw a couple bucks on it tomorrow.
All right.
I'll do that much. I'll do that much, Scott.
I might even join you guys with a couple bucks as well, myself. But yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you, man. It's gonna be fun tomorrow.
I'll one up you, Scott.
Ooh.
Bet him to hit 2 homers tomorrow. There you go.
Ooh, that's a good one. That would be bold. That would actually be kind of crazy if that actually hit too, because I'm sure those odds would be insanity
through the roof, man. Like it's like the people who actually hit those. It's like they should just retire from gambling because it's so impossible to know when,
because you're never gonna do it again. Yeah, I'm right there with you. But I'm right there with you, man. Tomorrow, Mills on the mound should be a good game. I probably might take the Cubs on the money line tomorrow if they're still around that plus 150-ish mark. I feel like that's good value tomorrow with Millsy on the mound, and I'm actually I'm feeling Rivas being back in the lineup. Jay Hay going on the IL today. Obviously Trace Thompson up. I don't know if he's going to play as much as I'd love to pick Trace Thompson in his potential debut. I'm going to say that in his potential debut, asterisk here, I'm going to take Trace Thompson. If he is not in the lineup, I will take Alfonso Rivas because I feel like one of the two is going to play. But hey, he got into the game a little bit late, called up. For those that don't know who Trace Thompson is, he's actually Klay Thompson, NBA star's little brother or big brother, or one of the two. They're brothers nonetheless. And the last time he was in the major leagues, I actually saw him hit a walk-off on the South Side in 2018 when it was April, and there was literally so few fans in the ballpark, they closed the upper deck and let everybody in the upper deck sit in the lower deck.
Wow.
And I actually called it too, which was even more fun. I have a buddy that can confirm that story. I called it and exactly where it would land, which was something else. But Trace Thompson, now a Cubs legend, as he's the 62nd player used on the roster this year. Something crazy. They said it's like a Cubs record.
I don't know how to
used.
I don't know how to feel about Trace Thompson, like his role. Like, is he like I had a full on like that's what I'm getting, because he was with the White Sox and then
he bounced around the minors.
At the same time, it's like maybe I should have expectations of what we've seen from the rest of the team as well. I mean, he played well at Iowa.
He did 21 home runs in 88 games, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. Like, I'll take that. I don't know. It would be cool to see him play well with the Cubs, though. And if anything. Maybe he's just a depth piece at Iowa next year that they can use.
I was going to say it would add to the fun of this Cubs team in September if he starts playing well, because then it's just like, oh shit, this is just playing with house money at this point. Like, this is just funny.
Trace Thompson hits a walk-off homer against the Cardinals or something to ruin their playoff chances, I would be unbearable for at least a couple days.
Oh, yeah.
And as a fan of a team that's not going to make the playoffs.
I think I would join you on that train.
Yeah.
I really would.
I did check is this a little bit too much optimism, Ron? But like last I checked, the Cubs in the wild card were only 9.5 back, still alive.
They are still alive.
Still
alive. Crazier shit has happened.
That second wild card spot is, I mean, I think it's probably St. Louis now. They're like only 6 games above 500. The Cubs got 7 games with them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Cody, I'm telling you what, brother, if that happens and the Cubs sneak in, we are going to a bar or somewhere as the Cubs on Tap gang and watching that wild card game in pure excitement, because wow, that would be just the dumbest thing to ever happen in our lives.
We're gonna save this video, clip it if it happens.
Facts. We absolutely will have to.
Oh,
I will make sure I save that when we are done with this episode.
I guess that's our our two cents of optimism of hey, we're still alive. We're still. It is pretty amazing, just considering how August and July went, that they're still alive and under 10 games back in the wild card. It's pretty amazing.
It shows how fairly okay they've been in overall since the trade deadline, but especially in September, we see you guys. Just a quick thing before we wrap up here. Chris Blazy, I don't want to mispronounce names. On YouTube, can y'all say happy birthday to his stepdad, Nick Gurr? He's a fan of your podcast. Happy birthday, Nick.
Happy birthday, Nick.
Thanks for being a fan and listening. Man. Yeah.
Absolutely. Big fan. He wanted us to give him a shout out. This is a first.
Yeah, right. I saw that come through and I got very excited.
That's literally the first time that someone's ever said that or left a comment like that on any show that we've ever done.
I know. That's awesome. So, hey, cool. Happy birthday to Nick Gurr. We hope you had a great one. The Cubs won on your birthday. So, hey, what better thing than the Cubs winning on your birthday? It's certainly something special. But, Cody, before we get out of here, want to remind everybody, Cubs on Tap, the official Cubs podcast of the On Tap Sports Network. Find us over at www.ontapsportsnet.com and at OnTapSportsNet on social media. Follow the pod specific accounts. That's at Cubbies. That's CUBBIES on Tap. That's Twitter and Instagram. Cody does an absolutely phenomenal job with the Instagram because I am illiterate in Instagram because I don't have a body made for photos. So I don't post on there much, but Cody crushes it over there. But make sure you're following both.
That's way too nice, man. I've been very bad on it lately.
Hey, that's okay. We're
gonna boost it up in 2022.
We absolutely. Hey, we're working on it, folks. But we need you to follow us so you can enjoy all of our great content over on Instagram. So again, at Cubbies on Tap for both Twitter and Instagram. I am at Loose on Tap. Cody's at Cody on Tap. Follow all of our other great panelists at Joe on Tap, at Juice on Tap, at the Riot 326, at Motor the Ball, and so many more that do great stuff for here. What's the Cubs, Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks? We got it all. Go follow those guys as well. And yes, Cubs fans, again, we don't love them either, but we all have friends that are Sox fans. You go ahead and bring them over to us because
they like to boo Kyle Schwarber because they're a bunch of petty little fucks.
They do. It's true. It's
part of the Red
conundrum.
Sox. I don't get it.
It's a conundrum.
I'm still waiting to hear back, on why. I would love to really know a good reason why. That
we'll have to have a debate with the Sox on Tap guys on a live show and ask that question.
We did well. I wasn't part of it, but I know we've done a crossover with the Sox guys. And if I ever get on one of those, I'm literally gonna ask: do you guys boo Kyle Schwarber whenever he comes to town and not play on the Cubs? That's all. It's a simple question. Why would you?
Just
now we get riled up about it again, man.
We're gonna rile Cody up right before he has to go to bed to go to work tomorrow and just get him going. But once again, at OnTap Sportsnet on social media and www.ontapsportsnet.com. The OnTap Sports Network. Go ahead and check out what's on tap in Chicago sports. Cody, we're sorry. I'm sorry that you got riled up, dude, because I feel you. I feel you. Again, we'll have to do some of those. Maybe we can do again, I jokingly call it a pay-per-view, but we'll just have a Sox and a Cubs on Tap guy just debate for 45 minutes about shit. I feel like that would be very entertaining. Yeah, it'd be very fun, very entertaining. We'll have to talk about that. It's good banter. Just us, being dudes and having fun and, encourage people to jump in the comments, ask questions. That's actually kind of a fun idea. Have a Cubs and a Sox guy debate about the Cubs and the Sox and have the viewers on the live show ask some of the questions as almost the mediator of sorts, and just let two guys go at it. We'll have to talk about that. Hey, we're gonna keep that one in the hat because that one might be a winner for the offseason. But nonetheless, this was a fun episode. As always, Cody, it's always a pleasure jumping on with you, my friend. Cubs win 6-3 over the Phillies today. Brennan Davis has an incredible AAA debut. It was a good day to be a Cubs fan. What do you say, buddy? We got out here the only way we know how?
Yep. Let's go, Cubs. Fuck St. Louis. Fuck Matt Carpenter. And fuck anyone who ever thought that Patrick Wisdom wasn't going to be anything good.
Amen to that. Let's go, Cubbies.